Hey, what's up, fam? This is James again. It's about 2:30 in the morning, and I was just subjected to several attacks, several dreams. Um, First off, I want to just lay it out there that when I was first, um, when I first got a part of this program, one thing I do remember was that I was at a grocery store and I saw one of those tall white aliens that people talk about. And they were following me around and acting as if they owned me, or they were celebrating in some way. And ever since then, I've been pretty much harassed by them on a regular basis. Some people say that these tall whites uh, run the government. They are connected to the fallen ones, etc., etc. I have no doubt that they're definitely a part of this whole conspiracy of white supremacy and the destruction of the black people. They're very cruel and really annoying, and they're the fallen ones. Um, so just want to kind of give an update with my dreams. They do this one a lot. My mother is one of those people who've been taken. She um, is a minister, not a Methodist minister, but she used to be a part of a cult a while back. Um, and, you know, she has obvious signs of possession. She is incapable of making any friends. She sees everyone as a target. Um, I wouldn't say she lies, but she definitely is the most manipulative person I've ever met in my entire life. Everything is for money, you know, and she's fearless. Um, and we definitely don't have a good situation going on. I basically have cut her out of my life because the only thing that she ever wanted from me when I was like established was money. There was nothing else she wanted, you know, and or wanted me to um, take all my time out of my day and night and worry about her and her church, or stop everything I was doing, fly down and help her whenever she decided to move. Now, just to let you know, I have given my time and energy. I even took time away from school and helped her out. But she's one of those parents that, and I kid you not, um, will take money from your college fund and go on vacation with it because she feels that she deserves it. She did do these types of things to me, um, and um, and without a thank you. And she's real good at like setting people up. Like, she'll ask one thing and have a whole different idea of what she wants and will manipulate you into a corner where you can't say no. Um, she does things like this on a regular basis, and her situation's not good. Um, the last time I spent time with her, she was she gets kicked out of any living situation that she's in. Um, when I last saw her, she was living inside of her office, which was stacked upon stacks of boxes and stuff like that for her and her church that no one really attends. Now, she is a Bible thumper. She says that she loves, um, God and all this other stuff. I tried to explain my knowledge about it, and she thought I was crazy. Um, However, I already know that she's been, selected, um, targeted individual, and probably changed, most likely. 100% changed and demonically possessed, and or cloned, killed and cloned, and forced into their program, their fallen ones. Had a couple of instances where when I was staying with her, I had that eye technology, that fourth dimensional eye technology, try to be pushed into my brain without my permission. Um, and also strange things like, um, when I left, um, my my mother, I had gotten a settlement in the divorce. By the way, these fallen ones, they really tried to make it very, very difficult for me to get away from my mother, and I was actually under tremendous attack of uh, from electromagnetic surveillance. They were attacking me every single day. There were people who, as soon as I went outside, they'd be waiting for me. Government agents. I actually had one agent, or I don't know all of them, but I did see one guy harassing me. This was in Washington D.C. There's an agent, Hispanic guy that got out of his car and just followed me around and basically looked like he was trying to kill me. And this was during the time of electronic harassment and mind control. I was full in mind control and the fear-based mind control. Um, and they had me in their program. This was a little bit more of the dirtier side of what they do. Um, and anytime I had gotten into my car, they would harass me um, in different ways, hit me with, those electronic waves. I'm sure they had something installed in the car as well. Um, and like I went to go see I was with my mom. She didn't have a kitchen, so she had finagled her way to use someone else's. He was a council member, a black guy, um, and I was subjected to electronic harassment in his place and some other type of demonic attack as well. Anytime I went there. Um, and it was just an ongoing, constant process. And basically, it felt like someone was trying to fry out my brain everywhere I went, and just constant fear, constantly shooting this fear into you, and not leaving you alone. I had actual agents stationed outside um, the apartment, I mean, the office. And I was staying with my mom at her office. She didn't tell me that she was living in there. Um, the birds, and anytime I talk to anyone about this type of thing with these truthers, there was one guy who was on YouTube, probably a famous guy, has his own channel, says that he gets surveillance by cops and stuff like that here in LA. Um, and when I mentioned the birds, he told me don't talk about that. And I'm a real truther. I'm going to tell you exactly what it's been about. Um, and so when I was with my mother, these birds would constantly be her, like they would stand outside the window, and I don't know if they're equipped with anything. I'm pretty sure they're probably cloned, and they're crows. Some of them are crows, some of them are smaller. And by the way, I never had any issues with birds before I was initiated into this program and of electronic harassment. But as soon as my eyes were opened and forcefully that they do something funky with these birds, maybe attach sensors to them. We were talking about surveillance the other day, and these birds, it might be a part of the surveillance state where they chip them and use them as little mini microwave emitters. I mean, it is convenient. um, some fallen ones or whatever technology that they use. to harass people. Anyway, so I was under tremendous harassment, and as soon as once I got my settlement, I gave her a little bit of money because she begged for it, and I said I was getting out of here. Um, and you know, once I left, she went ahead and called the cops. Uh, like I didn't tell her exactly where I was going, but she listed me as a missing person or something like that, and made it very difficult for me to leave the country. And when I got back into the country, this is I won't even talk about my Ethiopia trip. They were there being obnoxious as well, harassing me and trying to actually get me stuck into the country, and using mind control as well in many different ways. And I was susceptible to it. And so, you know, once I got back into the country, they said that my mother had listed me as a missing person or something like that. And so the cops had to check my IDs, and they weren't going to let me back in. They were trying to act like I had stolen the IDs and I wasn't who I said I was. Um, I'm sure, the Israelis and the Masonic cops were collaborating, and I was subjected to very, very rude treatment by police officers. And I had just gotten off like a 18-hour flight, and they refused to let me go to the bathroom. Stuff like that. And they contacted my mother, and she said that I was crazy, etc., etc. I have no idea what that has to do with me um, entering the country. I mean, with her opinion. Um, And, if you've been subjected to this type of stuff, you would go crazy as well. Anyway, so my dream, they constantly subject me to harassment dreams about my mother. Just had two where um, they they kind of force you into a situation. Oh yeah, my brother-in-law also sent me an email, a very angry email once, and told me to go live with my mother. It was a very strange thing to say, and so I know that he's a part of this as well, big time. Um, but basically telling people what to do, and yeah. Anyway, so these dreams, um, they constantly having me have dreams where my mother is involved. So they've stolen something about her, or they're forcefully using her to manipulate, acting like I don't know what's going on, especially because I'm getting my divorce, so they keep looking for different ways to get in and attack me. And so now one of the dreams was, basically they're trying to scare me inside my dream and hurt me, and then um, I go to my mother who helps, but these times my mother, once I walk into her room and it's usually dark, she's masturbating. And then the last time, she, it was two dreams in a row, so usually they'll just keep repeating and repeating, repeating this theme of whatever it is that they want. And so this last time, she was I was being harassed at night and being attacked spiritually, and I go into her room, and she has her legs wide open, masturbating, and the being gets up and jumps off the bed and runs out of the room. Um, Believe me, I have no interest in this type of thing, but I can tell when they're using the harassment and when they're invading your privacy. So these are the last dreams I had, and they're very rude. They're very disgusting creatures, whatever they are. Um, and more power to you, fam. Get your protections up because I think you're getting real desperate. Peace out.